empty cup. Just crack a smile and fill it up. Fill it up.
Welcome to After the Final Pour, presented by the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Clark Fettridge.
Welcome, Clark. How's it going?
Good. You know, I never show up. I just show up for this. No, this is Brandon Winninger.
Oh man, hi Clark. We miss you. Yeah, man. How's it going? This is an After the Final Pour. We I'm not gonna go back through everything. Brandon and I ran into technical difficulties of recording this because we're doing this late on a Friday night. One of the few times we record on a Friday night. It's kind of nice, you know. We had plans originally to meet up for tonight, but you know, here we are doing this. We both did separate drinking tonight. I did a homebrew contest. I was a judge, and that was fun. And you stopped by, and you didn't drink anything because you had to go.
Yep.
But then you went home and you drank your Oktoberfest.
So I had some homebrew.
There we go. Brandon, what are we drinking tonight?
Tonight we are drinking a Stone FARKING WHEATON W00TSTOUT.
Yes, sir. When was the last time you had this?
I think so I've had most years, but I think it's the last year or two I haven't had it. So I haven't looked at my Untapped, but I think it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah. And this brew is near and dear to me because this was, I think, the first homebrew we did together.
Yeah.
Like I brought a recipe with the Wood Stout and we did that. And it turned out really freaking good.
It turned out awesome.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was a kit from somewhere, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I bought the kit and Mike's like, yeah, we'll do it. Whatever you want. So I brought it. We did it. And it turned out better than I think any of us expected at the time. So
yeah, man. And I think we drank through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because that was around the time when we were brewing in my mother-in-law's basement. And I think we kept going there and doing brew stuff, but we kept drinking it as well. And I'm not sure, but I think Mike still has a recipe. It would be fun to revisit this recipe because I feel like
available online. I do know that. You can search it. It's up there.
It's definitely an underrated. It used to be it is a big annual release for Stone. But it's kind of fallen under the radar since it's gone into 6-packs instead of being the bombers. This is something that a coworker and I had talked about recently. And it's an imperial stout brewed with pecans, wheat, and rye, and 1/4 aged in bourbon barrels at 11.5% alcohol. And I'm not going to read through the label again, other than it is the collaboration between Fark's Drew Curtis, Will Wheaton, and Stone Brewing co-founder Greg Koch or Koch, and that this year's label is done by Tom Rainey, who has drawn for Marvel and DC from X-Men to Batman. This is an awesome stout. It's kind of an under the radar stout, much like how I feel some of the New Holland Dragon's Milks are. Regular Dragon's Milk is delicious, and for the past couple of years they started doing variants of it, basically, where they would add things to it, and those variants are the reserve is what they call it, Dragon's Milk Reserve, and those, you know, adjuncts are really awesome. There's only one I didn't really care for. It was a rum barrel aged one, and that's just because I don't like rum barrel aged beers that much. But other than that, all the other reserves are good. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Stone's W00TSTOUT Stout. As you said, this is a beer that's near and dear to you because it is one of the beers you and I technically brewed together for the first time ever, and we've brewed many beers since then. So yeah, every time I see this beer, I actually think of you, man. Do you have any W00TSTOUts still sitting around, or have we drank through all your saved W00TSTOUts?
I don't know. There may be one, but possibly none. Yeah. If I have any, it's one. I don't know. I don't look much what's back there.
It's just a constant reminder of the deliciousness you have sitting around in your basement.
Yeah. It's crazy that this beer was made after that guy that showed up on a couple episodes of Big Bang Theory. Like, come on.
Oh, you mean the guy
before that?
Oh, you mean the guy the guy from Star Trek Next Generation?
He was on Star Trek? Really?
Or you mean the guy from Stand By Me when he was a kid?
What?
I need to rewatch it.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. So Will Wheaton has a huge history and awesome enough that like he kind of, I think the original story was he was a home brewer and reached out to them and it was like, hey, I'm Will Wheaton and I homebrew and I like stuff. And they're like, oh, you're Will Wheaton and you like homebrewing. So cool. Come on. So I think that's kind of how it started. Will Wheaton, if you're listening, let us know.
Yeah, please. We'll tag you.
But yeah, it was like the first time this came out, it blew my mind. I was like, holy hell, this is a delicious stout. And then a couple, I thought it was a one and done originally. So I think the next year I missed it and then realized it came out again. And I went back and found the last year had it. And I was like, holy shit, this beer is just good. And, maybe I've missed a couple of years, but consistently this beer has been delicious and I can't knock it because whatever they're doing, they're doing it well. And I like it.
And I got to say, when I found this beer, I think I had it last year because I went to Bottles and Cans, the shop where you can, as you guys have known listening to episodes, that you can build your own 6-packs or 4-packs. I grabbed a random bottle of it and I had it. I don't know if I posted or whatever. I talked about it. I did have last year's just from that. And when I went to the store recently, local beer shop, they had the 6-pack of it. Excuse me. And it was a fucking $15 for a 6-pack of this. Like, I mean, if you listen to the show and you know that, we love barrel aged beers, and living in Chicago, we're very blessed with having a plethora of barrel aged beer selections, especially this time of year. To be able to find a beer like this at that ABV, it's awesome. It's really cool, and I think a lot of people kind of sleep on it, man. Is it the best barrel aged stout? I mean, if we're splitting hairs, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no. It's not the best barrel aged stout. It's just a different type of barrel aged stout. It's really good. It's not thick and chewy, but you get a nice barrel characteristic from it. It's easy drinking for fucking 11%, 11.5%.
And if only a quarter of it is barrel aged, apparently.
But I get it's
a blend.
Yeah, I get a nice,
it's a good blend
barrel flavor from it. There's
so do I.
Wheat and rye in this. There's a little spice to it. There's a chocolate note, some vanilla, some oakiness. Roasty. It's a really, really solid beer, and I feel very fortunate to be able to have some more of these in my fridge, because I had one, gave you one, now I'm having another one, and I got 3 more left. So that means, Brandon, we're probably going to have at least one more together of these. Yeah, no, it's awesome, and I'm surprised it gets overlooked as much as it does these days, because barrel aged beer has come such a long way. By the time this comes out, Brandon and I will have already have gone. We're recording this pre-FOBAB, so if you follow us on social media and whatever, we are going to the Festival of Barrel Aged Beers here in Chicago, the largest barrel aged beer festival. I have to give a shout out
in the world.
Is it in the world? It is in the world.
It has to be. Like,
I think it is. I know at least the United States, so it's got to be in the world.
Totally.
It's the coolest thing ever. And I got to give a shout out thanks to Clint from Lake Effect, who is hooking us up with passes to go. He does have 2 beers there that are wild beers, because it's the Festival of Barrel Aged Beers, and there's also like wild, other wild barrel aged beers. So it's not
you gotta say
beers.
it is wood and barrel aged beers. So
Thank you.
When you say barrel aged, everyone kind of goes to the stouts, but wood aged, like that literally opens a window to sours, to even IPAs, pale ales. Like there's a whole world, and like looking at the list of what's going to be there,
it's crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah, I don't know how we're there. It's blowing my mind how many beers that there are for us to try. So
we can't drink them all.
No, by the time this comes out, you already have known what we've tried. But it's just the world of barrel aged beers is so much bigger. But Stone is, this used to be a beer that was highly sought after, and I feel like you don't hear much about it when it gets released. There's not like this big, at least here in Chicago, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's not like this big.
It makes me sad because it's such a great beer.
Well, it reminds me of Bell's Dark Note. Dark Note was also I remember when I started getting into craft beer, Bell's Dark Note was also a huge barely. I don't remember the last time they've done Dark Note, but that was also a huge one to find. As far as a barrel aged stout goes, they were selling single bottles of it.
Yeah.
But now, those are beers.
So I will say, we love this beer truly, and we will make a plea online and forthcoming to Will Wheaton to come onto this podcast and talk to us about this beer and the conception of the beer and how it lived and how it keeps going. Because they continue to do it. So there's obviously a market for it. So Will Wheaton, we're coming for you.
Yeah, we're coming for you, man. I like that. We're gonna start the campaign right here, right now. Will Wheaton.
And I would be like, hey, Will, you came to Fishman's. I wasn't there. And now I'm here. So now you're going to talk to me.
All right. So here it is, everybody. You heard it here first. We're going to try and see if we can get Will Wheaton. If that happens, that's impressive. That is impressive.
I'd end the podcast after that. I'm like, all right, we're done. We did a good job.
Yeah. If nothing else happens after that, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But yeah, this Woot Stout is good. Brandon, what are your impressions of this beer? What do you get?
I mean, I've always loved this beer. And again, so when we first poured this, I haven't had it in like a year or two. And I was like, it's the same beer. It's still delicious. I get that pecan. I get the vanilla. I get the maltiness. I get the barrel. The beer is great. And people that don't buy it are missing out, man. This is like a sleeper beer. Like if you're looking for barrel aged stouts and you're overlooking this, then you're overlooking a lot of stuff. So
yeah, I mean it's not the biggest, sweetest, chewiest, stout out there. If that's what you're looking for,
and
that's not what you're gonna get.
And personally, I don't always want chewy. I want drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
I want drinkable. I want flavor. I want an enjoyable beer, and this covers that, man.
Yeah, it's a very nice, you said it, drinkable beer. It's enjoyable. You can sip on it. I'm going through it a little faster than I thought I was going to be honest. But yeah, no, it's a solid beer. It's really good. It's a great beer from Stone. So I'm happy to keep drinking this. And it doesn't lose the aspect of beer, because there are a lot of big barrel aged stouts or barrel aged beers out there that, it's cool. I'm not taking away from those beers or breweries that focus on whether it be adjuncts or just focus on the barrel, and that's what you're going to get. But this is more of a beer where the secondary thought is, and here's a barrel. Yep. Like the barrel doesn't feel secondary in a bad way, but the focus is more on the beer. I'm going to keep repeating myself because this isn't after the final pour and drinking a lot. But yeah, awesome beer. It's great, man. I love Wood Stout, and I look forward to it every year. I do, and you know what? And to be honest, I do kind of forget about it, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, gotta grab Wood Stout, gotta grab it. And you're the person I always think about, man, when I see this. So I'm glad you and I get to share this together.
Of course, man.
Yeah, and you know, as we're recording this, I'm super stoked about going to FOBAB. I know this episode's coming out after we've gone, but man, I can't wait to hear what we've said about it at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be, I was gonna say nuts, but it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day.
Yeah, man.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's all I'll say for now. Brandon, you got anything else to say about this beer?
Love it.
Love it too, man. And if someone's walking down the street and they're like, hey man, what do you think about that Woot Stout from Stone? Would you give it out of 5?
Well, I would say, well, my buddy Will Wheaton's going to be on an episode pretty soon and talk about it, but totally this is a 4 for me, man. Like, it's a 4. Like,
yeah, 4 is pretty good. I would you know, I'm gonna give it a 4. You know, I think I rated it on
I'm sure I have rated it, and I'm being 4 to be like not to be too pretentious, but I'm like it's 4. It can go higher, but like it's a solid 4 because it's solid all the time.
Yeah, I would give it between a 4 and a 4.25 ish.
Yeah,
you know, I think I gave it a 4.25 on Untappd, but that's where I'm at with it. You know the funny thing, Brandon? The cans of PB Eugene and Pursuit of Freedom are still sitting in front of me here at the bar.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I don't know when this comes out. It's gonna sound like it's been a lot longer, but it's only been 5 days since we recorded that episode. All right, man. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us on social media platforms individually. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, on Untappd, BDub Drinks Beer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untappd under Asa Phelps Chicago. On Twitter, The Asa Phelps Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all 3. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.